Hello and welcome. This series focuses on individual tarot cards, their general meanings and the messages. My name is Crow, it's a pleasure to have you here today. And we're going to focus on the High Priestess today. This is the third card in the Major Arcana, but it is of course numbered number 2 to keep things nice and confusing for everybody. So what we can see here is a lady sitting on a high back throne. She has a large a white pillar on her left and a black pillar on her right. She has what appears to be some sort of full moon or pearl on her hat, a cross on her chest, and a crescent moon at her feet. And she is holding a scroll. Now on this edition it says the Torah, but I've also seen others which say the Tarot. And you can start to see how it's an anagram of each other, pretty much. Now, the High Priestess. We've come away from source consciousness with the Fool. We've had this division into the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. We've covered the conscious masculine energy with the Magician, and now we're moving to the feminine subconscious energy. Clearly because there's a woman in the picture. But this is really important because while on Earth, men and women can essentially do pretty much everything. The other one can. Almost everything. The conscious and the subconscious mind are completely separate. They are two different functions of one mind. But they aren't one separate mind. It is an illusion between the two. Now, the High Priestess really spoke to me this morning anyway. So we've got lots to talk about with her because she has many very important things to say. Now, the first thing to look at is her position. She's sitting between these pillars, between the white and the black. Now, in traditional Kabbalah, Jewish mysticism, we have the white pillar is the pillar of mercy, and the black pillar is the pillar of severity. Now, that doesn't mean one is good and one is bad. Think of it like positive and negative charges on a battery. You need both for the battery to work. And it's really important how we're positioned between these ends of the spectrum, essentially. These polar ends. If anybody has studied Hermetica, you will know about the principle of polarity. And this is where it comes in with these two pillars. Because if you have full control over your life and you can decide to, be wherever you want, you can choose to lean more towards one pillar or the other. But of course, there's going to be some consequences for this. Let's say you lean too much towards the pillar of mercy. You're going to be letting people walk all over you. You're going to be quite passive. Not a lot's going to get done. You might start putting on a lot of weight and just not looking after yourself in the best way. But if you go too far to the other way, towards severity, well, you're going to become too rigid, too combative. You're not going to get on with people. You're going to become too structured. And this is the wisdom of the High Priestess. She's sitting central, the middle pillar, as it were, between these two polar opposites. She has on her chest a cross. Now, the Christians, of course, monopolize this symbol, but it is much older than them. It is a very, very old symbol. We can see another version of that in the Egyptian mysticism with the Ankh, the rising sun across the horizon. And what the cross essentially represents is the Christ mind, the central point of consciousness. There is this centralism to your stability. You are locked in on a particular state of being. And if all things are in balance, this is where your consciousness is, right in the center of everything. What else is going on with the High Priestess, which is really important? Okay, so, of course, let's go back to the point about being a woman. Now, women are the ones who give birth. And we can see here the large high-backed throne she's got. They look like vegetables and fruits on there. There's an abundance which is coming through. And this is reminding us about the nature of consciousness, how creation comes about. The conscious mind impregnates the subconscious mind, and then the subconscious mind is the one who creates the manifestation. So let's think about this a little bit further. A lot of people can be too far to one side of these poles. They're too into their masculine energy, and they're trying to constantly do. They're always doing. And they're not letting their feminine energy have its time. You don't rush a pregnancy. A pregnancy has to run its course. If you start messing about with it, we're going to have complications, and it could potentially lead to an abortion and things like this. It's not a pleasant word to say, but that's effectively what you're doing to your own mind if you don't trust. And this is the wisdom of the High Priestess. She is about trust. She knows she's pregnant. She knows it's all going well. And she has complete faith in the process. She's sitting there completely calm, completely confident, knowing that the birth is coming along in its own time, in perfect timing. We don't want to rush this. We want to flow with the process. She is holding this Torah or tarot in her hands because she's aware of the path of creation. She's aware of the fullness of the soul. She's aware of all the different parts. She's aware of the good news. She is keeping her attention on the divine, keeping her attention on what has been impregnated, on what has been created. And she's letting her magnetism come through, because if we turn to physics, the relationship of the conscious and the subconscious mind is reflected here in electromagnetism. So the conscious mind, the electric energy, and the subconscious mind, the feminine magnetic energy. And you need both to have light, don't you? Light is the combination of these two. So there's also the pearl on our hat as well, which I think is really important. Pearls, of course, correspond with wisdom. And it is the wisdom to trust in the process, to trust that everything is coming in its own time. And so if you are having a bit of a wobbly day, if a lot of the undesirable thoughts are coming to you, I would encourage you to meditate on the High Priestess. Look how serene she's sitting. Look how confident she's sitting in the knowledge that everything is just taking its own time, and it's all about trust, really. All about trust in herself, in what her own power can do. And I think that's where we're going to leave it today. Thank you very much for being here. If you've got any further cards you'd like me to explain, or any readings you'd like me to do, please leave a comment down below. But if you'd like a private reading, you can also find the link to that in the description. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you next time.